Yo, 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 it's CypherTalk. We got Nim in the house. What's up, Nim?
Yo, what's up?
If you guys hear voices in the background, Rising Star is actually having a bit of a party. So, shout out to Rising Star Academy of Arts. If you want to get your music lessons, if you want to get your dance on,
Plug.
I gotta plug it because they let us use our use a space. So,
Yeah, shout out Rising Star.
yeah.
I work
By
here.
by the way, Nim, you're leaving, right?
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm moving out of Winnipeg to the big town of Dauphin.
So, what are you gonna be doing in Dauphin?
I'm living in Dauphin, but I got a teaching job in St. Rose, teaching woodworking, grade 7 to grade 12. So I'll just do the commute every morning, and that's for the full year. So if I find a job in Winnipeg, I'll be moving back.
Okay, cool. Is that like a contract type thing where you like
Yeah,
okay, it's 1 year and then
it's a full-time term job for 1 year.
okay, cool. How long have you been teaching here at Rising Star?
5 years, half a decade. It's been a good 5 years. Obviously, if I had gotten a full-time job in Winnipeg, I would have kept my job here, but I passed it along, and now at the Patrick Hilario.
Oh, Patrick's teaching. Sweet.
Yeah, so hopefully he can handle the reins and fill the gigantic shoes that I left at the studio. No, I'm just joking.
Do like a lot of people know that you're an actual like school teacher or
Yeah, my close friends, some of my other friends know. Actually, I know some people that ask me all the time, like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "I'm a teacher," and they're like, "Oh, you're a teacher," and then like a month later, they'll ask me like, "Oh yeah, where do you work?" I'm like, "Man, I'm a teacher. I work at a school," and then like, "Oh, what? You're a teacher?" It's like, "Yeah, you know that." Like, but whatever. I guess people don't keep track of what everybody does all the time, right? So you can't blame those people.
I find that some people are surprised that you're a teacher. Like I was surprised to find out when like the first time like, "Oh, you're a teacher?"
Yeah,
Cool.
I got the baby face. Actually, one time I had to call one of my students' parents to ask them for permission to take them to a field trip because he didn't sign the sheet, and he was the only one out of the class. So I called her parent, and then she was on the phone. She's like, "What? You don't sound like a teacher." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I am. So can your son come to this field trip or no?" Yeah.
How long have you been breaking?
I started in 2007, so I'm coming up on 10 years real soon. Yeah, I started when I was 15.
Wow. How'd you get started?
Uh,
Like did you see like Beat Street or something or like I don't know.
yes, it's a classic story. It was Star Wars. Two of my buddies, they got into graffiti, and this is right around the same time that we got into other things like hip hop and other things. And they're like they wanted to start a graffiti crew. Shout out to NCH, no crime here. Formerly known, no long it's disbanded, but obviously because it's illegal and stuff. And
So there was crime there.
yeah, yeah, it was really contradictory because we called ourselves No Crime Here, but then alternative name for the acronym was Nocturnal Crime Hounds. So it's like, what are we trying to send a message here? What kind of
It's
message?
like B12 or something.
Yeah. So yeah, they try to get me into graffiti. I got into it a little bit, but I'm just not that artistic. Like my hand and eye coordination for drawing stuff isn't the greatest. So they tried to get me into it. So they showed me the movie Star Wars, and that's like all about graffiti in the 1970s in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this one scene. I didn't know who it was. I know now it was Crazy Legs, but it's just a scene and it's just his silhouette, and he's doing footwork, and like there's like the classic like hip hop beat in the background. I was just like the form, like his form and the way that he was doing the footwork. It just enticed me right away. I was like, oh, what is it? Is that breakdancing? I was like, damn, like you always kind of know about breakdancing, but you don't really know
Yeah.
about b-boying, right? You don't really know about the culture and like how committed some people are to the dance. So when I saw that footwork, I was like, damn, that's crazy. I had to learn that. And yeah, I learned it and I got into it.
That's crazy. So did you see the Crazy Legs versus Storm Battle of the Gods?
Yeah, I did.
What did you think about that? I've been waiting to talk about this for so long.
Well, like they're both OGs. They're both mastered the craft and have mastered it for a long time. Crazy Legs is that classic b-boy. He is like the foundation of what a b-boy should be. That attitude, the battle tactics, the way he rocks, the way he moves on the floor, right? So it's Yeah, you can be like an incredible b-boy, have a lot of moves in your arsenal, have a lot of flavor, have a lot of style, right? And obviously youth on your side, being young or whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't really touch Crazy Legs in that sense because he started everything that you know, are trying to do, right? And then you got Storm, who is just a technical master, right? Like his movements, his moves, so crisp. I can't really say like who won. It's hard to say who won that. I'm not fit to judge that battle personally.
And it was 5 rounds, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they went extra though.
They did?
Yeah, I think they did extra rounds that were not caught on video.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Just
So
in the minds of people.
undiscovered footage.
Yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, holy crap, Storm can still pull off like the craziest moves. Even Crazy Legs.
Head spin drills are just insane. Like, how can you do that at like 45 years old? I don't know.
It always amazes me like how many styles he could do too. Like he does locking, he does popping.
Yeah.
And he breaks and like what? And how old is do you know how old is he?
They both got to be in their 40s.
Well,
Yeah,
I think Crazy Legs is 50, right? 50,
He's
50.
Holy shit.
And then Storm must be kind of close to there, maybe a little bit younger, but still.
Yeah, they're getting close to that age for sure. And like, I'm 24 and I'm complaining about my bones now, and just watching them battle, it's like, damn, what am I gonna be doing at 50? Not being in a battle called Battle of the Gods. That's for sure.
What kind of injuries have you had like in the past?
I've broken both of my thumbs at like different times breaking. And I wish I could say that my torn MCL, my torn meniscus was from breaking, but it was because I fell down a trap door.
Oh,
That was at my work. We had a trap door that goes to like storage, and it was wintertime and the floor was wet, so I guess I got a little overzealous when I was trying to open the trap door, and I slipped through the trap door and my left leg got caught on the main floor while the rest of my body went down the hole. And so I tore my MCL, yeah. And that put me out for 4 months. That was a rough 4 months because that was right before the boxing A battle, and that would have been my first boxing A battle that I would have wanted to enter. So I couldn't enter that one. And then there's another battle in February. I think it might have been 2 Raw. I'm not sure. And I couldn't enter that one either because of my injuries, obviously.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So when you first started teaching breaking here at Rising Star, who else was teaching breaking? Was Dono teaching still? Or
Yeah,
at that point?
Dono's been teaching for a while, I'm pretty sure. I think he's been doing it for 7 or 8 years. That was at DBS. Phil and Winston were teaching here for 2 years before I got this position.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so Phil and Winston were doing like a double team job here, and then as far as teaching, like this is before 393 even came around. 393 is still pretty young as a studio, right? So I don't know. I'm sure Bob was probably teaching. I feel like Drift was teaching at some point.
At School of Contemporary Dancers.
I remember Ricky used to hold sessions at the U of M, and he would also teach lessons. Like that was way back in like 2008.
Yeah, like the thing is usually, I guess, is it true that like b-boy, I guess breaking teachers they don't really have. I mean, they don't teach for very long. Like they don't really like teach long term. Like a couple years is already like a super long time for them to teach at a studio.
Yeah, like I mean, me personally, and I'm sure there's other b-boys that feel the same way. Is when we teach a street dance in a studio, it's just not the same. Because you see all these students, you see like a lot of the little kids who are forced into this class because their parents made them because they want to release some extra energy, and I feel like breakdancing is a very good way of doing that. And like you see these kids, and you just know they're not going to take this craft outside of the studio, right? They're not going to actively search for sesh spots in their city or go find friends and try to start up a crew, right? Like these kids will only keep it in the studio. And my teen class, I had 4 kids in my teen class, and I truly felt like that they would take this out of the studio. And when I don't know if they're coming back or not. I know that one of them is not coming back, and I really hope. I told the oldest one, like, make sure you talk to them, and make sure you start up like a group chat. They have group chat, but make sure you guys actually actively try to get out and find sesh spots and try to be a part of the scene, right? Don't just think breaking is only in the studio. There's way more opportunity for you to learn this raw dance that is not inside a studio and it's not being taught by one person, right? you should be learning as a team.
Yeah, there's definitely a huge difference in culture when it comes to studio and then dancing outside the studio, because I feel like a lot of the studio dancers they don't even realize like the kind of culture and richness that is behind all the stuff that you teach in the studio.
Definitely, yeah.
So
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's the classic street dance versus studio. You know, like obviously breaking was born on the streets, and that's really where it should stay. But I do believe a studio is a good place to start learning breaking. Right? It's a safe place for you to meet other people that are interested in art, and then if you have the chance, take it outside the studio. Like I remember when I first went to that U of M session that Ricky was holding, like I was so shook. I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself. Like I literally found this out through like I think it was bboy.org or Bboy World. I
Oh,
think. It was
wow,
like
yeah,
some
yeah.
forum. Like yeah, it was on
is there
a
any
forum.
sessions in Winnipeg or
Yeah,
whatever? Right?
straight. Yeah, it was like practice spots. Canada, Manitoba, Winnipeg, and like you go there, and I saw one. I saw like a post that was like 2 days old. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's like 2 days old. I don't know if I want to trust this, but you know, it's like, oh, asked my dad to give me a ride. And I get there, and then yeah, there's just regular people sessioning. I was like, I felt way safer when I saw that there's like a lot of people in a fully lit room instead of like some shady little hallway or something. Like it was an actual nice banquet room. Yeah, Ricky, shout out to Ricky. He was actually the first b-boy I ever met in the scene. And it was kind of funny. Like when I got in there, I was just like, oh yeah, like I thought I had to like sign in or something. Like, oh, where do I register for the session? Like, what do I need to do?
Did you have your leg warmers on or something?
Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, man, like here, I'll come teach you. And he tried to teach me the 6-step, and I'm like, oh, I already knew the 6-step, right? Because I had already been practicing for like a few months, and he's like, oh, you can do a 6-step? Okay, get out there and practice with the other boys. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I get out there and like, because like he separated. He had like a little wall divider for, you know, people that he was teaching, and then the other side was just the b-boys that were practicing. And kicked me out of the onto the other side of the wall. He's like, yeah, okay, go practice with them. I was like, okay, like I don't know anybody here, but
I'll play some Spice Girls so you guys could break over there.
yeah. Actually, yeah, I met Egg. He's like probably the bushiest mustache I've ever seen on a guy before. I was just like, man, this guy is straight like Hernando's like Latino right here. I'm like, damn. And then I met a couple b-boys from B-Boys by Mistake. I don't know what happened to those guys.
Who's in that?
I don't know. Like the guys that I met were very obscure people. Like I kind of feel bad because like that's kind of part of my history. Like those were some of the first b-boys that I ever met in session with, right? So I kind of like, if anybody knows, please comment on the YouTube comments. Like let me know who those b-boys were. I'm sure like Drift would know or like Bob would know. But yeah, I met them. I met Creative Differences. So that's like Stalls and Cardi, Mary Joyce. Yeah. And then I kept going to those sessions, but then they ended. And so I had to find a new spot. Forgot where the yeah, I guess CK would have been the spot after that, really, for like the local Winnipeg spots.
What are like is there any kind of story that you have that kind of involves breaking, but it was like a really crazy, like unbelievable story? Like what? Like how did that even happen? I figure you have like a couple, at least a couple.
I don't know. Like I've been to I wouldn't say a lot of out of town jams, but I've been to quite a few out of town jams in Canada. I think one of my most memorable ones is going to Minnesota Freestyle Session, and like I was going there just for the festival, like Soundset. Like I was going there to see Nas. I was going there to see Chance the Rapper and like Absol. Like I was super psyched to go see those acts, and then I see like at the bottom of the Facebook event page, it's like, oh, also there will be a b-boy event. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, yo, maybe I'll try to enter that. And I ended entering with Ricky and Bob, and we made to the semis, and we won money out of it. So that was probably one of the funner experiences for me because, you know, I bought a ticket, but then after we qualified for the top 8 to get into the actual festival, we got VIP tickets.
Oh,
Yeah, so I had this regular ticket and I had this VIP ticket, and I was trying to scalp my regular ticket to people. I was like, yo, cop this ticket for $40. I already got a ticket. And yeah, I don't know, like the city versus city, Calgary. road trip, that was really fun. I know Jerem's already talked about hitting that deer. That was a pretty crazy moment too, actually. I remember I was driving in the other car. I was driving the van, and Stalls was he was in the passenger seat. Or no, he was behind me, actually. And he gets a phone call. And he's just like, yo, what? Like, are you serious? And then, like, everybody, like, the only people that were actually up at the time, I think it was me, Della. Della was in the passenger seat. I think it was pretty much just us three that were still, like, actually awake. And then Stalls, like, wakes everybody up. He's like, yo, the other car hit a deer. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like,
Whoa.
damn it. Like, wow, that, like, one, that sucked. And then two, like, it's already super laid out and it's, like, snowing outside. So, like, that was just going to cause a whole lot of problems. And, like, getting to the next city or getting to the next town to get another rental car and, like, finding a place to stay. It was pretty stressful, but, like, obviously it's super good that everybody came out alive, right? And, like, not hurt.
Yeah, that's insane. Who else was with you guys? Like, so there was like a bunch of you guys who went out there, right?
Yeah, I think Mark flew. Wait, was Mark there? No, Brian flew, I believe. So, like, one person flew there and then drove back with us. So in the van, it was me, Stalls, Della, Ivan. Was Jamal in that? No, Jamal was not in that. Jeremy, like Dono. Jeremy Trinidad was in the other car. The other car was Egg, Trinidad, Kevio, and who was the fourth person? Oh, Patrick. Patrick was the one driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our van was after, like, when we met up with them, like, it was crazy. Like, when we were driving up to where they got hit, because they were ahead of us by, like, about half an hour. And, like, when we were driving up to them, in the median lane, there was, like, a semi-truck that was flipped over, and all its cargo was all over the highway.
Oh.
Yeah, then we kept driving further, and there was another semi-truck on our right-hand side. It was also flipped over, and its cargo was all over the place. We're like, what the fuck happened here? Like, it was crazy. Like, there's, like, a bunch of medical emergency vehicles, and there's, like, cargo everywhere, like, boxes everywhere. And then we roll up and we see a deer carcass on the right side. Like, it was splattered, like, its tongue was hanging out, like, its guts were everywhere. And we're like, oh shit, this is probably the deer. And then we pull up and, like, their car is just smoking and totaled in the middle lane. And, like, we pull up and, like, all four of them are just, like, sitting on the highway, just like, holy shit, like, as if that just happened. Jeremy was, like, the most shook out of everybody, you know, like, he was, as soon as we rolled up, like, he just hugged all of us. Like, he's just like, oh my god, he just hugged everybody. Yeah. So that was probably another crazy breaking story, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds insane. It's crazy how that freaking it was one deer, right?
Yeah.
Just one deer can cause all of that, like, havoc on the freaking highway.
Yeah. It made a man out of Patrick, though, that's for sure.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, that was his first time driving on the highway. He's 19 years old.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This kid's going a $140 down the highway. Like, he's never driven on the highway before, and he's driving, like, in the worst conditions, like whiteout conditions, super slippery. Kid hits a deer going a $140. So, like, me and Brian, like, the whole trip there, we're just laughing at the fact that, you know, Patrick's first road trip kills a deer. So we're like, you know, we gotta get this man a lap dance. So me, Brian, Della, and Patrick, we, like, at the after party after the jam, is at some like Miss Molly's or something like that. And, like, me, Brian, Patrick, and Della were like, yo, like, we gotta go to a strip club. We gotta get Patrick a lap dance right now. So, like, Brian was so adamant about it. Like, he was ready to go. Like, he paid for the cab. He was searching on his phone for the nearest strip club. He's like, we gotta go. And like, it wasn't like some seedy strip club either. It was like a pretty prestigious, like, looking strip club.
And this is in Calgary?
Yeah, it was in Calgary. So we got him a lap dance. and yeah, that was like the whole joke. Like, yo, this kid just became a man. Yo, he killed a deer. You got a lap dance. We're like, yo, how's the lap dance, man? He's like, she let me smell her. It was sick. It was sick. That kid was the highlight for that trip for sure. Shout out to Patrick.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only crazy, I guess it's not that crazy, but to Andrew it's pretty crazy, and I've talked about it before, so I don't know if the listeners are tired of hearing it. I don't know how many times I've said it on the podcast, but I'm pretty sure at least once before. But UFC was in Winnipeg a few years ago. It's like 3 or 4 years ago. Or
Really?
something. Yeah.
UFC.
Yeah, they were at the MTS Center.
What number? Like
161 was it? Yeah.
oh shit. Okay.
Um,
Who's the main card?
Dan Henderson versus Rashad Evans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so but then they had this pre-party type thing. I think at Republic, and Brittany Palmer and Ariane Celeste, the Octagon girls were there, and then it was like near the end of the night, and so I was like, oh, I want to just like dance, whatever, right? Like whatever, like they're already there, and that's cool. But
Did you like post a picture with them? Like, did you have a picture with them or something?
I did have a picture with Brittany because so the story is that I started dancing, and then Andrew, you could corroborate the story because some of it is a little bit kind of blurry in my mind, but I started dancing and started like popping or whatever, right? Boom, bam, bam, and then Brittany Palmer, she's in this like barricaded section, like VIP section or whatever, and
Yeah, like
approaches
the
my
booths.
cousin because Andrew was there too, and she was like, "Oh, is that your cousin?" Apparently that's what she said, and then he's like, "Yep," and then did she ask to record me? Is that what she said? Yeah. So after I was like done getting down for a while, I'm like, okay. So I go towards Andrew, and he's like standing pretty much beside Brittany Palmer. I'm like, okay. And then like he's yeah, and then like she put up her hand like this, like to give me a high five, and she's like, "Is that you out there?" And like I thought that was a weird question, like, "Is that me out there?" Yeah, obviously you just saw me. Like in my mind, I'm like, "You just saw me. That was me, obviously."
Like, man, you know who I is?
And then I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." And then she's like, "Is it okay if I record you?" And then I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then I start dancing, and then she starts recording. My cousin's freaking out, and like right beside her, like, "Oh, check this out!" He's like, so he's recording her, recording me. And then I'm like, yeah.
Are you on her Instagram?
Yeah, I was on the Instagram,
Like
on Vine, on
Your
her Vine.
video?
And Twitter.
It was like 6 seconds. Yeah, it was on Twitter, and it was on Vine.
Oh, okay, I don't have either of those social media. So I can't.
So
I got Instagram, though.
somewhere out there in the vastness of the internet is me dancing for like 6 seconds on like Vine, and it's also she tweeted it, so it's in one of her tweets from like way back then.
That's sweet. She's an artist, so she's probably
Yeah,
pretty appreciative of the cultural.
yeah, and then
Expressions.
then I was like, oh, I guess I might as well ask for a picture now because I didn't really ask for a picture beforehand. Like a bunch of people took pictures with them, and I'm like, okay, I guess I deserve a picture. So like yeah.
Don't even ask for it. Demand it. Yo, take a picture with me.
She was really nice though. And I was
She tall?
kind of surprised.
She seems tall.
I don't. Maybe she's like the same height as me, maybe a little bit shorter. I couldn't really tell because they're always in that barricaded section and they're like up a little bit higher, and they're probably wearing heels or something.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. So that happened, and it was like, whoa, okay, cool.
Yeah. Are you still throwing your All Styles Jam? Weren't you gonna do an All Styles Jam?
The first one that I did was with Cut Connects, and I don't know. There's some issues going about doing that. Like the whole battle itself went fine and everything, but organizing it was like there were some complications going on into that.
Oh,
I think Jeannie's
right.
Yeah, Jeannie's taking over for that one, and they're doing one in Edmonton for Cut Connects.
Yeah. Who's
But
the hottest or something? Like,
who's the illest?
who's the illest?
Who's the hottest? I'm so hot. This is why we hot.
Yeah.
This is why we hot. But yeah, no. I think we like Good Funk is going to put on a bigger jam, hopefully next year. We want to do a really small one, like how they have the Boxing Week jam.
Yeah.
Kind of have like something like that.
I hope somebody's gonna take over that.
I think Bob is still gonna do that. I think he's like he told me he's like, yeah, I could still throw a jam from Toronto and have it in Winnipeg, like
What?
yeah, like he'll coordinate it from Toronto, like he's like a freaking like maniac, and just like I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not the hardest thing to do. You just gotta tell people to come to one place and get an iPod, right? That's usually how the Boxing Day battles go.
Yeah,
I like the Boxing Day battles though. It's very raw.
Those
It's
are
just
fun.
like straight to the point, you know.
I dissed Della in one of them. I did he did this like the sign of the cross thing, and he's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
zombie, and he comes up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that burn against him, and then Bob was like, "No, you can't do that burn anymore."
Oh, actually, I remember that. I feel like I remember that. Oh, you can't do that anymore. Like, on the mic or something like that.
I knew it was gonna get a reaction, so that's why I did it. I knew I wasn't gonna win, so I was just like, oh, I'll just do this for fun, and then yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, last year's was fun. I got some dope shoes from that actually. Some nice
You won shoes?
Yeah, like I got second place in that, so I got shoes that were actually pretty fresh. I didn't wear them for like 6 months because it was winter time, right? So and then I finally busted them out. I was like, God damn, these are fresh, man. Like, yeah, so that was a good win. Yeah,
What kind of shoes were they? Pumas? You
yeah,
said?
Puma suedes. Yeah, they're just like blue, nice shoes, like really fresh.
Blue suede shoes.
Yeah, blue suede shoes.
Isn't there a song about that? Blue suede
Yeah, I'm
shoes.
pretty sure that's Elvis.
Oh,
Elvis
okay.
Presley. I think.
Jeez, I sound like an idiot. Like I don't
Yeah.
even know an Elvis song.
Elvis or Johnny Cash. I don't know. Probably one of those two.
Is there like some stuff that you're into that people wouldn't expect that you're into? Like do you like country music or something? Like something kind of random?
Not country, but like
Yeah.
I fucks with
F
like Johnny
country.
Cash. Like I'm more into like the the rootsy, folky kind of side of country. You know, like the bluegrass type of country. I'm not really into
Okay.
like the twangy country pop. I'm not into it at all. Actually, I don't even know why I said kind of like it's nothing I like at all. Like
You listen to Simon and Garfunkel?
Bridge over Troubled Water is a pretty good tune. And what's that one? It's like Hello Darkness, my old friend.
Oh yeah.
That's a good tune too. Only because of Old School. Or not Old School. No, yeah, Old School. Yeah. That movie where he gets shot in the neck. You're crazy, man. I like you, but you're crazy. And he like falls in the pool. It's one of my favorite movies of all time for sure. Yeah, so
the seatbelt scene. Remember I forget who was in a taxi, Luke Wilson or something.
okay.
And then
Seatbelt scene.
I just remember something about the taxi drivers, like dissing Luke Wilson or something about putting on a seatbelt or whatever. Like it's like fuck the seatbelt or whatever. I don't know. It's pretty funny.
I don't remember that scene. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
What Frank the Tank?
Yeah, Frank the Tank. Once it's so good. So good. Once it hits your lips. Oh man, that character, like Will Ferrell in that movie is probably the best Will Ferrell, like even better than Anchorman, like like the streaking scene.
See,
Honey, do you think KFC is still open? Oh, great movie.
oh yeah, Will Ferrell was here for like some curling event. He was promoting, I guess, the movie.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think he came to a Jets game too once.
Oh
I
wow.
feel like he did. Well, like he's a big hockey fan. He's a big LA Kings fan, so he loves his hockey.
I guess hilarious. Like, are you into any like other comedians or comedic actors or whatever?
I don't know, like Louis C.K. Definitely.
Ooh, Louis.
The way the man thinks, the way that man thinks, honestly, is just so similar to me. Like how his perspective on like little details that some people might not really think about, or like they do think about, but it's like really in the back of their minds. It's like almost exactly the same as me. Like when he's talking about like how he wanted to give this veteran or this soldier his seat in first class on the plane.
Yeah.
But this is his first time that he's ever been in first class, so he didn't give it up. But like the fact that he thought about it, he felt like, that's good enough to make you a good person, right? Like that's
He
that's
felt
so
good about
true.
having those feelings.
Yeah.
or
Like,
having those thoughts.
there's so many times when I see something happen, but like I really do want to like do something to help that person out or something like that. But like one, it would be very awkward for me to like get out of my way to help that person, or like two, like it's really inconvenient and I just can't do it. Like whatever the situation is, I just can't help them out. And then somebody else ends up helping them out, or they end up figuring it out themselves. And I'm just like, shit, like I could have looked like a very good person right there, but I didn't do anything. Like I just observed the entire time. And I'm like, you know what? At least I wanted to help them, like that's, I don't know. He just he thinks the same way as me, I feel. Other comedians, I don't know. I'm not really that into Kevin Hart. I feel like there's a lot of hype about him, but not that into him.
I kind of feel the same way too. I saw his show here when he came here, and I also saw Chris D'Elia, another comic.
Oh, he's hilarious. Krista Illa?
Chris D'Elia. Chris D'Illa.
Yeah.
Chris
What?
D'Illa. I'm gonna call him that now.
Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
D'Illa.
Yeah.
D'Illa.
Like the long hair, right?
Yeah.
And like the really pointy nose. Yeah, he's hilarious
Like
too.
a weird looking Keanu Reeves kind of
Yeah.
character or something.
Oh my god, have you seen his Keanu Reeves impression?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good. When he's talking about how his girlfriend's gonna leave him.
Yeah.
It's like as soon, and then I was like, oh no, he's the one.
Yeah, that was such a good bit. Oh.
Yeah. It's like I turned into Keanu Reeves going back in time or something.
Have you seen those like Laugh Factory? I think it's Laugh Factory bits.
That's where he did them. Yeah.
He just like the ones about Drake. Oh.
Oh, so good. Yeah. You can't fuck me. You can't fuck with yourself. Like because he's in the shower or something. You can't see I'm crying because I'm in the shower.
Oh, crying in the shower. Like that one. Oh shit! Like there's so many funny.
And he's like, he doesn't write his stuff. Like he's doing this all off the handle. Like he's just freestyling his bits. Like
yeah.
there's another one where he just comes on stage. He's like, oh fuck, what else do I talk about? And he's just like, and he just starts making fun of like these stoner white kids in the crowd. And it's like,
Yeah, like what's your name? Dylan. Oh, of course it is.
yeah. And what's your name? Trevor. It's just so perfect for him. Like. That's such he's funny too.
Well, I saw his show and I saw Kevin Hart's show, and I thought Chris D'Elia's show was way better and it was way cheaper too.
Chris was at Rumors, right?
No, it was at Regent Event Center. You know where the casino is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really cool. It was really it was hilarious.
And Kevin Hart was in MTS.
Kevin Hart was MTS, and he was funny too. Like, and his opening acts were funny too, but not as funny as to me as like Chris D'Elia.
Yeah.
I only paid like $35 for Chris D'Elia's show.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would pay money to go see a comedian live. I mean, even if it's one that I really like Louis C.K., I don't know if I would go out of my way to go see that because just watch it on Netflix or something, you know?
It's different though, man. It's definitely different. It's like, that's the same thing with like if you're watching a Bboy event or like a dance event live stream and then you're just watching it there in person.
I would never live stream a Bboy event. Like, that's just... I think we did once, like, when we were in Medicine Hat. That was for Red Bull BC1, the one that Menno won. So I guess that would have been 2015, 2014. And we live streamed that just because, like, we were in the hotel room. We had nothing else to do, so we just decided to live stream it. And that was, like, after the battle. That would be, like, the only time I would ever live stream an event. Because, yeah, that's just not the same. That's true. Yeah. Like, comparing a comedian to a B-boy event, it's... Like, I understand the appeal for both, but I don't think I could live stream a B-boy event.
Like, record it live stream or, like, watch a live stream?
Like, watch it live on, like, online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I've watched one where Mark was at Bust-A-Move, and then they had a live stream of that. So I just wanted to... Because I wanted to see...
That was in Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Montreal, and I wanted to see how he was going to do, because I know he could do really well. And then like he was doing his battling, and then he was doing his round. And I'm like, oh no, he's off beat. Like he's like I could tell he has the moves and everything, but he's just like off beat. I'm like,
well, it could have been the stream too, right? Like,
it could have been, but the
like
other guy was on beat, so that makes me think he was off beat. But he already knew that. Like, I talked to him after about it, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I couldn't hear the music that well. I wasn't like he was like not in the zone at all."
Oh yeah, like concentrating on the movement rather than the music.
Yeah, and
I've done that. Yeah,
have you had like mental breakthroughs where you're like, okay, oh, I get it. I can now I know how to kind of like approach this dance when I'm battling.
Yeah, I mean, this seems so elementary, but. I forget who it was, but somebody told me about stage presence. It might have been Jamal, honestly, and he's just
Jamal? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Jamal. He was just like, which is funny because like me and Jamal, when we used to battle, like neither of us really had like that presence, like that floor presence of like when you get onto the floor, like it's a big floor, right, and you got to fill up that whole space, and you got to make sure that you're attracting the attention of the crowd, like make sure that they're watching you, right? So I never thought about that before. Like whenever I used to battle, I used to just think like. Get on the floor, do your moves, throw down your round, like that's how it should be, right? And the people that are watching, the people who deserve to see this, sees it, right? But then I never thought about like in battle where there's like a big crowd or whatever, you have to demand their attention, right? You have to show that you have like that floor presence. So like now every time I battle, like I look at the floor and I think about the entire space and how I can fill that whole space and how, I can attract the attention of the crowd. Because like sometimes when I enter like a round, like I start straight up top rock, like right from the side, like where my team is standing or where I'm standing, like I start top rocking right there and I groove into the floor.
Nice.
And sometimes, but that, yeah, sure, but like sometimes that doesn't attract the attention of the crowd, right? Because like usually when that one B-boy, like my opponent ends, right? They like do the pose, boom, right? You gotta immediately go onto the floor and be like, okay, now it's my floor, right? But like top rocking in from your side, people don't really notice it as much. They don't notice the little finer details in your round because they're not concentrating on you anymore. They're not concentrating on you. They're still concentrating on the B-boy who just finished his pose and he's walking back to his side, right? So now, so ever since then, like I thought about it, I'm like, oh damn, like that's true. Like if I want to win battles, like they need to see me. They need to like actually see what I'm doing, right? So I've just been more aware of just having that presence and making sure that who I want to see my rounds is actually seeing my rounds.
When I talk to B-boys, it seems like they have, in the general, I guess, in general, they have a sense of strategy when they battle, and you guys battle pretty often compared to other dancers. So, is there like a specific theory like that you've developed, just with all the experience that you've had?
Smoke everyone. I don't know.
Can you be more specific?
Light them on fire and smoke the fumes that emit. Smell their flesh. I'm just joking. Straight up, I don't know. I've been actually kind of declining on dancing. Like I haven't seshed in like 2 weeks. And the last time I seshed was actually right after I got this tattoo piece done. So I couldn't really do much, right? So that was the last time I seshed. And when's the last battle I've been in? Like I don't remember the last battle I was in. What's the last battle? There's like a lot of all styles battles happening.
Yeah.
And I like all styles battle. Like I like all styles battle because like when I go into that battle, I don't really care. I'm just fucking around, right? Like, that's why I enter as Nicki Minaj. If I want people to take me serious and like be like, oh man, this guy's serious, like he's a sick all styles dancer, I wouldn't enter as Nicki Minaj first off. Okay, so when it comes to all styles battles, like just definitely having fun is my main priority. But when it comes to like B-boy battles, I don't know. Like my battle strategy is just do you, just. There's no hiding around it. There's bigger fish out there. Mm-hmm. Like there's the level of b-boying out there is just so insane. So for me to come into a battle and just be cocky, be like, yo, I'm the shit. It's like, no, I'm not. Like I'm little shit. I'm a little shit. Like there's some big fish out there and like really skilled b-boys. So when I come into a battle, like I personally believe that, I have my own style. I have my own flavor and the way that I do things. I don't think I look like anybody else when I dance. So when I come to a battle, I just want people to realize like, oh shit, that's Nghiem. That's Nghim's round right there versus whoever else, right? Like I'm not trying to be like, oh, Nghim's better than him, but I want people to be like, yo, that's Nghim's style for sure, right? So having that kind of mentality in a battle makes you a lot looser, makes you more at ease, and you just look more comfortable in the battle, right? So if you look scared or nervous or you're not sure of yourself, then obviously the judges are going to see that and they're not going to pick you in the battle, right? So honestly, it's going to sound generic and corny, but just doing you.
Well, like you do have a very distinct style, and even coming from me, like I'm not a b-boy, but I could tell, like especially your top rock, like whoa, that looks.
Thank you.
And some of the I guess some of the sequences you have on the ground are just like they look really different, and there's some of them are kind of complex. I'm like, whoa, that's some
honestly,
stuff that you like. I don't know.
I got to thank Winnipeg for that, right? Like Winnipeg's dance scene in total is just unique. I think like out of all the scenes in Canada, I think Winnipeg is one of the most unique. We definitely focus on the dance aspect of b-boying and b-girling instead of the moves or the battling or like the attitude. We really focus on the dance. So if I could pick any scene to have like grown up in dancing, it would be definitely Winnipeg. Very proud of the scene. Yeah.
What's some of the things that you kind of pass along to your students when you teach them, or what you try to like impress upon them when they come to your class?
You are not going to learn everything in this studio, and when you dance, you really need to develop your own personal style that makes you distinct from other b-boys. And I tell them that, everybody is going to end up doing moves something like you or similar to you. So you need to figure out how to make that move yours, like how to make it different, how to make it unique. And really, when I tell them that, I just tell them like it's how you get into the move and how you get out of the move that makes it different. So when I tell them like when you're practicing at home, like you're not gonna get all the practice in at this studio, right? Like the classes are 45 minutes in an hour, right? So you're not going to get that much time to get any practice in. So when you go out of the studio, when you go home, when you go practice with your friends or whatever, just keep that in mind. Like, be unique when you do your moves. Try to think of different ways to do it so that it's different than other b-boys. And yeah, I don't know, just have fun, I usually drill these kids, man. Like when we start classes, like I make them do man makers. I just get them sweating. I make them stretch. I just get like all the unfun stuff out of the way right in the beginning, and then we just usually get into the actual class. And for the younger kids, it's different. Like you gotta have a structured class, right? Because they don't know what they're doing. They're just like little goofballs of energy, just running around, right? But like my inter class and my advanced class, like it's usually just session, like getting the warm up out of the way, and then just working individually with them and just helping them with their style.
Are you going to be teaching dance at all at Dauphin, or like wherever that place is that you're teaching at?
Dauphin is a huge Ukrainian community.
Oh, good.
So the Ukrainian
split
dance
jumps and stuff.
Yeah, I had one kid that was in my intermediate class that was doing Ukrainian dancing, and he was actually really good. He picked up all the moves fast, and he's only been with me for a year, and that's because he did Ukrainian dancing. Like Ukrainian dancing, they do stuff on the floor.
Yeah,
like they do those little like jumping Russian moves or whatever. So he picked it up really fast, but I don't know how popular b-boying will be in Dauphin.
You could be an OG in Dauphin, man.
Yeah, I could be the best b-boy in Dauphin.
I'm the best b-boy. ... in Dauphin.
Best b-boy in like 1,000-kilometer radius.
I am the only one.
There could only be one. Jet Li style.
So yeah, man. Are you into martial arts? Do you like kind of look for inspiration when you watch like kung fu movies or anything like that?
I took Taekwondo for 2 years when I was 11 and 12, and like I got some pretty mean kicks. Like people are sometimes surprised with me, like when like you like body box with some of your friends or something like that, and like I just lay down like a perfectly placed push kick or something, or like a spinning side kick. They're always surprised, man, because that is kind of like a 6-step or like a windmill. Like once you've learned it and you drilled it enough times, like it's just muscle memory, right? Like you always know it. So like a spinning side kick, like I can lay down a mean spinning side kick if I want to, or like a jumping side kick. But like, oh yeah, shit's serious but like I quit it because I couldn't handle the fact that they always wanted me to key up. Like, the yell that you say right after you hear like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like, and star you?
Girl. Yeah, exactly. Like, just like the grunt that you do after you do a kick or something. Yep. Like, I just felt it was so corny and I didn't want to do it because it wasn't natural to me. Yeah. Right? Like when I did a kick, like I just did normal, just like, like an exhale or whatever. But they want you to do like some yell and I'm like, okay, well, that's so corny, right? Like, I don't want to do that.
It's so weird how they would want you to do that. Like, I mean, I figured that, I was watching one fight, an MMA fight. It was women fighting. I forget who was fighting. But one of the girls was like, ha, 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 ha. And I'm just like, this is so annoying. Like, it's like every time she strikes, ha, 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 ha. Yeah,
like that's natural though. That's just because she's exerting a lot of energy in a very short amount of time, right? So that you have to release the energy somehow through yelling. So that's okay. But like if it's like a kick that you don't need to yell, like if you're not exerting that much energy doing a kick, like you don't need to yell, right? But like they wanted it after every single kick. And I was just like, I can't do that. And like it was a big deal to them. Like they would send me to the office. I would talk to the grandmaster, and he would get my side of the story. I'd be like, it's corny. I don't need to do it. And he's just like, well, if you're not gonna do it, then you can quit Taekwondo. So I was like, okay. And I literally walked home. I was like, I called my parents. I'm like, I'm quitting Taekwondo. I was like, fuck this shit. Like like I'm sorry, but like this is so corny. I can't do this. And I was walking down the road, and my parents were driving up, and they're just like, you can't just quit Taekwondo like that. I'm like, well, I just did. Like they don't want me back. Like the way I walked out of that place, I don't think they're gonna take me back. So yeah,
Just doing tiny little leg kicks and then like
yeah, exactly. It's so annoying. Like
little punts and you're like,
I think my key up at the time, the one that I picked, I just copied somebody else. I think it was just like, hey. So I was just like, I would just go, hey. And it's just, like I hated it. I just thought it was so corny. Yeah. I would do MMA though. Like I would go to like Canadian Fighting Center or what's that boxing gym in the Exchange? Global
power boxing? No.
Is it? I thought it was like Global Boxing Gym. I don't know, something like that. But I would. But I don't know. I have other things that I would rather spend my time on. Like I said, like I haven't been doing much breaking because I'm just trying to live my life right now, just doing other things, and yeah, breaking is kind of taking a back seat.
How did you get into teaching? Like, what made you want to be a teacher?
My graphic arts teacher in high school, like the way he ran his shop, the way he ran his program, I thought it was really good, and I kind of thought to myself, like, this would be a really fun gig. Like, it would be fun to run my own, like, my own shop and be in charge of how the machines are placed, what you can teach the kids, what kind of projects they can do, like doing the little micromanaging, like individual lessons to a student, teaching them something on a machine or teaching them a process. Like, I just thought that was really fun. And so, like, I saw that there was an education program specific for industrial arts. It was a 5-year program going to the Red River in the UW. And my dad works at the Red River, so it's like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you go to the Red River. So I would get rides to school with him and rides home. And then Tuesday and Thursday would be the UW where we'd take the education courses. So, like, I mean, I took automotives and or power and energy technology and graphic arts in high school. So I took shops, right? And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And like my dream job would be a graphic arts lab, but I'm running a woodworking lab, and I love woodworking as well. Obviously, it's just way more dangerous than graphic arts, but yeah,
like way more dangerous.
Yeah, it's all like industrial arts. The way that you plan your lessons and the way you unit plan, like what you're gonna teach the kids and how you teach them, so much different than the classroom, right? Like 100 times more, because like you're not standing in front of the class every day doing a lecture style based lesson, right? Like it's usually demonstration and then one-on-one micromanaging and then, you know, showing them the process and then allowing them to work, and then whatever like troubleshooting problems they need help with, you help them out with it, right? So it's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of like putting them on a boat and pushing them on the river, and then whenever they kind of steer off course, you put them back on course, right? Whereas opposed to a classroom, you're like in the car, you're driving and you're driving them, right? You tell them where to go every single time. Like, well, wherever you drive to, they have to come along because they're in the car, right? So it's a little bit different where like you show them how to do something and then they get doing it, and then anywhere you need to help them, you know, it's almost kind of like autopilot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into teaching.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Were you at you were at Jazz Fest? That's a weird question for me to ask because I saw you there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, were you at Jazz Fest? Yeah, you were.
Good Jazz Fest this year.
Yeah.
Really good lineups.
I always see you at like at some like concerts and stuff. I guess you could call them concerts. Like Super Duty Tough Work whenever they're playing, Jupiter Storm when they're playing. Who else?
Full Pop Funk,
of course.
Yeah, big fans.
Nile. Yeah. Like I'm guessing you enjoy that kind of music, right?
Yeah, like I like the fact that Winnipeg has their own like funk band. You know what I mean? Like, you know how Vancouver has like 5 Alarm Funk, or like California. I don't know what city in California, but California has like Fuse Hick, Australia has like the Bamboos, you know, like those like really funky bands, and those are like the local bands, and like they can play jam like what B-boy jams, or they can play like dance battles, and people can get down to that, right? So it's nice knowing that Winnipeg has its own like funk band, like that gritty, raw, just good music, you know, like soulful jazz music. Like Toronto's like Bad Bad Not Good, right? That's another really great band, one of my favorite bands. So it's whenever I can support those like local funk bands, I try to, right? So really glad that I think all three of those bands that you mentioned were playing Jazz Fest, weren't they? I don't know about Jupiter Storm. Was Jupiter Storm?
Yeah,
they did
were.
play. Yeah, they did play.
The only one I caught was well, Moses Mays are not from here, but
They're dope though.
they're dope. Yeah. I caught that one. Full Pop Funk I watched, and they had some good stuff too.
Yeah.
And Niles really, I think maybe not. He doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
I don't know if
McLovin is one of my favorite songs. Like the first time I heard that at Ivan's Jam, Bad Blood, like I was hooked immediately. That was such a good song.
I think it's only now that I don't know if it's only now, but that's what I noticed, that dancers are kind of discovering like these bands, and they're really awesome to dance to, right? Super Duty Tough Work, yeah, like I don't know, I like them too. Like they were, I didn't get to catch their jazz fest set, but apparently it's on SoundCloud now.
Yeah.
So the whole thing's on there.
Yeah, it's like an hour and no, it's a little less than an hour. It's about 47 minutes. Ashley, God. Sorry, we're getting disrupted.
Miss Ashley just interrupting the CypherTalk.
She can't hear us, but you guys can hear us. We're talking mad shit about her. Just joking. Congrats on your baby, Ashley. Nothing.
And people can't hear her because she has no mic on her.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah, their set was like 47 minutes long. It's really good. They had Callie-Ann, Sam, Della, Ivan, and oh god, wasn't there another dancer? I feel like an asshole now. I'm pretty sure there was another. Yeah, no, I think it was just those four. They had those guys come up on stage to do a little piece.
Nice. Like, was it choreographed?
I think they had a few like commandos, like two like routines with themselves, but mostly it was just Cypher, and Brendan called me up on stage, so I got up on there and threw down one set real quick, and then they ended the set with 2 songs.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a huge scratch from that too. I got a huge like rash from the stage. It's not a good stage to break on. No,
usually like the stages are not meant for dancers at all.
Yeah, that wasn't the best.
Are there any like gigs that you got that were like really, really cool?
I think one of the coolest gigs that I did was for a U of M event. I think it was like one of those like welcome back to school bashes that they had outside.
Mm-hmm.
One of the stages, it's like that. They set up the stage around like this round hill, like it was kind of a tapered hill, and then near the bottom of the hill, like we had a little performance. Yeah, we just threw down in front of like a lot of like university students. That was kind of cool, but I don't think I've ever had any paid gigs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like most of the gigs that I've ever done were I just got stuff out of it. Like I had a Youth for Christ performance with a bunch of people, and that was really fun as well. That was on a really hot day, and I decided to wear jean pants that day.
Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah, it was not a good choice to wear those pants, and I didn't even get anything out of that. I think one of the worst things I ever got as a payment was a U of M frisbee, and it was it. And the worst part was like the place that I did that gig at wasn't the U of M. So I got this.
You just found it and like, oh hey, you can have this.
God, yes. I was so pissed about that. Like when I got this, I was like, U of M. Like we're not even at the U of M. Like, so I literally left it there. Like I left it somewhere so that they can see that I left it there. Just so that they like fucking know. It's like, see, this is what you pay me with, really. Yeah. So like some of the I've done 2 other gigs at the U of M, and that was right in the morning. And I hate breaking in the morning because like you're still like not warmed up, right? Like your muscles are still cold, and like getting warmed up is hard when there's like a bunch of people around or something like that. So that really sucked, and that they didn't pay me either for that. I think I just got food, which is okay. I'm cool with getting food.
Yeah, food's good.
If it's really good food, like buffet style food, I'll definitely do something like that.
Have you ever danced any other styles apart from breaking?
Not really. I mean,
You never took it like a ballet class or anything? Or?
no. Well, Rising Star made me teach one hip hop class. That was 2 years ago, I believe. And straight up, that whole year was me like watching YouTube videos a week before class or like 2 days before class and trying to learn it and then teaching it to the kids. Yeah. Like with that class, I didn't really focus on like the newer, like I think at that time, the trend was the Dougie.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that Dougie was really in, and I didn't want to teach like shit like that. So like I went old school, like did like the Running Man, like the Shamrock and stuff like that, and just trying to teach moves like that. But I don't know. I didn't really do other styles of dance. Nothing really appeals to me, you know. When it comes to dance, like for me to personally do, like the way I move, how I dance, like I just want to dance a certain way, right? And like that's not me saying that I only dance to like breaks, right? Like I try to listen to a lot of music and just move to how that music, like I try to move appropriately to that music, right? Like I'm not gonna do like hardcore like top rock steps to like Taylor Swift or something like that. But if Taylor Swift was to come on, like I would try to move to that kind of that kind of music, right? And if it ends up venturing out of the breaking style, then so be it. Whatever, right? Like I truly believe that the music should dictate how you move. So yeah, other styles not really. Like I don't really actually find inspiration from many other things to incorporate into breaking. Like you asked me before, like if I use martial arts at all and try to incorporate breaking. Like I like to think that I would. I wouldn't say like, yeah, you know, like I find inspiration from everything. You know, like I'll look at birds and be like, oh, look at the way they move. Like try to do that in my dance, but really I don't. Like I don't. I don't got the patience to like observe other things and be like, how can I incorporate this into my dance style? You know, like I purely let the music dictate how I move.
It's funny how like when you say that, it's just like okay, it's funny. But if Frost said that, I'd be like, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
If who said that?
If Frost said that,
yeah.
Frostflow, like if
Yo,
he's,
don't get inspiration from anything else. Only breaking. Like yeah.
like if Frostflow said like, oh yeah, I get it from like trees and nature, I'd be like, oh okay, yeah, cool, that's
Yeah.
cool. But then when you say it, I'm like, oh, all right.
Like I can't be like real and say, oh yeah, I get inspiration from all of these things or whatever. I just don't like I don't name my moves either. Like I don't name any of my combos. I just kind of let it naturally happen. And I know some guys that name their moves that are really into naming moves and stuff like that, and they're like they rip me on. It's like you should name your moves, you know, like you know it's your move, like it's your style, it's the way you do it, so you should name it. And it's just I just don't got the I don't know the
Ain't
mind.
nobody got time for that.
I don't got the mind power to think up of a cool name and actually like commit to that name, you know? I think the only move that I actually have somebody else named it, it's like my side worm. Like I do like a little weird twisty move in the air and then I kind of do like a worm, but I'm on my side. So somebody called it a side worm. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, it's a side worm. Why not?
Is there anything about the culture here, the dance culture, that kind of bugs you? Like kind of like
Yeah, everybody in it. I hate everybody in this dance scene. They all fools. Smoke them.
light them on fire.
Yo, I'm calling out this guy. I'm calling out this guy. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't say it bugs me, but I'm disappointed in the lack of pure b-boy jams nowadays. Like I do like all styles jams. I do like coming to them, supporting other dancers, supporting other styles, and you know, entering those battles and just seeing how my style compares to their style or whatever. And it's really fun, right? Like it's fun entering an all styles battle, but sometimes you can get some some DJs who will really fuck with you. I'm not gonna mention any names, but there's some DJs
We all
that
know who you're talking about.
like who will deliberately give you just a shitty song just to throw you off. But when it's not a shitty song, then it's really fun. But yeah, like when I first started, there was a lot more solid crews. Like there was like a definitive crew. Like I was about to be like, they actually had a name. Like there's crews that had names back in my day. But like, solid crews, and like if we were to have a crew on crew battle or like a 4-on-4, when I first started in like 07, 08, and 09, like you could actually have that, right? And like there would be like 4 or 5 jams like every year. And now like, what year is it? 2016. Like how many jams has there been in 2016 that was like purely B-Boy in Winnipeg?
I don't know.
I can't name one.
No.
Like I know
Two Raw's coming up. But,
yeah.
Oh wait, no. Bob's going away thing was a
Yes,
B-Boy.
yes. But that was only top 8, right? And that was
That was
kind of like a throwaway party.
invite only. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing.
But like, yeah, it doesn't bug me, but it's just sad to see that the B-Boy battles are kind of declining in here, and obviously it doesn't help that Bob left, but everybody keeps saying that, or even Bob was saying that he has a lot of confidence in our scene to, keep the torch going and keep the flame lit, and which I think is true, but it's just I'd rather see like more B-Boy battles, like something training, right? And everybody's looking at like the bright light of that, or like the bright side of that, like, oh yeah, now it gives a chance for like the B-Boys in Winnipeg to go out of town and go to other battles and experience other scenes, which is true, right? Like going out of town and like seeing other scenes and battling other crews that are not from Winnipeg is good, right? It's good experience, and like it really opens your eyes. But at the same time, I always looked at B-Boy battles in Winnipeg as like practice, and if you can really like make an impact at those battles, then like your confidence in going to other scenes will be a lot higher, and you'll have a lot more hunger, because you're like, yo, I can make an impact in my city, then maybe I can make an impact in other cities, right? And yeah, I think I'm just more disappointed now. It's just because I'm at a level where, I want to be able to do a lot of impact, and I can do a lot of impact. But now that there's no more battles, I don't get the chance to. So
Well,
like,
you've held your own B-Boy battle, the tag team break cup or whatever.
yeah, I'm really disappointed about that too, because now that I'm moving, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it this year. Like I was gonna collab with a guy that used to work at the U of W, and he helped me with my first 2 battles. But then he moved to Victoria, but he moved back, and I actually saw him at Jazz Fest, and I was just like, yo, Chris, like, I want to do this battle, but I don't know if I can, because I got a job out of town, and I'm going to be moving, and it's just be really hard to coordinate with that and stuff. And when I told him, maybe, like, do you want to collab on this, like, do it, like, half and half on this, he seemed really into it. Like, he was really pumped, because he liked the first 2 battles that I did, and he was actually the guy who gave me the idea to take my 3rd jam to the Goodwill. So like he gave me that idea. So, and he's run events before. So if I can do this battle again, then I definitely will. It would be something that I don't want to stop doing, because I have 2013 on there, 2014, and 2015, right? So it would really suck to have no 2016 and then next year 2017, right?
Yeah.
I want to keep that continuity going. But yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna be really busy with this school year and moving out and trying to get settled into another town. Like I don't know if I'll be able to run the jam, but that could also be me just being like a little pussy about this, right? Just like, oh boo-hoo, like poor me, right? But
Well, can't you ask some other people to help you out with that too? Like, and you could just kind of, help. Like,
yeah, work behind the shadows or something.
it could be like
yeah.
a team effort type thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's why I brought it up to Chris, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I would like to throw it again, definitely. I just feel like the biggest, not the biggest issue, but the biggest concern for me would be, I guess that's a synonym for issue, like a concern. But like, yeah, the biggest concern would be getting more battlers. Like last year, I think I only had 14 teams of 2, and I only had 2 out of town teams. So realistically, like getting 10 to 12 battlers to battle in this jam, and then I got to fill up the rest with out of towners. So I really just gotta reach out to like outsource my battlers, get other battlers like out of towners to come in and just networking with other people to come to my battle. I think that would be my biggest concern, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you want to kind of promote and put out there, in case we forget?
Yeah. If you want to check out my SoundCloud, I'm MC Nimdawg, aka Powerful Nimpact, Boom from the Cannon. My mixtape just dropped. It's called Young Rich and Shit. It's real ignorant, and honestly, there's a lot of fire.
Because you smoke people?
Yeah, I got Drake featured on a song. I got J. Cole on a song. I got Kesha. I got Khalees. Mariah Carey's on one, but she's just doing an intro. Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
I want to see how far you can take that bit.
Yeah. Promote. I don't know. Like,
You have anything coming up?
if I do my tag team breakup, I'll probably do it in the fall months. So look for it in November, December. Those are winter months. I mean, like October, November, December. Like, look for it in like the later months. If I can do that, then I think it would probably collab with my boy Chris Dean. So shout out to him if he helps me out. He's a really good event organizer. So if we were to collaborate on that, I think it would be a good jam. I think it would have good turnout. Yeah, just support the jams coming out. Like who's the illest?
Who's
Edmonton?
the illest? That's in Edmonton, though. So I
Yeah.
don't know if Edmonton will be listening to this.
Yeah.
What's your crew? You got to mention your crew, man.
Oh yeah.
Or do you not have a name for your crew, too?
Yeah. Well, when I first started, I was crewless, and then I joined Bionic Bunnies. That was my homies, who none of them break anymore. So that just kind of became a family, and it's very I met them through Facebook because I was trying to get a crew for the Break for Bread 8. I think it was the Break for Bread in 2008. So I was trying to get a crew for that, and they were looking for another member because there's only 4 of them. So it was 5 5 people minimum. So they needed a 5th person. So I ended up linking up with them, and they ended up becoming my like friends till now, right? Like probably lifelong friends. And yeah, when they stopped breaking, I actually had a really pretty deep conversation with Bob about this because he was telling me about like how Dangerous Goods originated and how like they were like just like they first formed up from different crews like as a battle squad, right? Just like a crew to battle together. So he was telling me like just try to just make up a crew that can be a pure battle squad. So I started up Dirty Palms. I started that up with Jamal because Jamal's also in Bionic Bunnies, and me and him were the only ones that were breaking. So we're just like, yo, like we're still BBC, but we gotta go make our own crew. So we made Dirty Palms, and we recruited Della, we recruited Chris Gamboa, we recruited Ju Young. Who else did we put down? I think just those guys that we put down, and like that was gonna be our battle squad. That was gonna be like what we were gonna enter squad battles with, but that kind of fell through too. Like, I mean, we didn't like Jamal's in Toronto. Ju Young is literally everywhere. Like that guy's everywhere. He goes everywhere. Like he'll come back and be like, "Oh yeah, like I just went to Nova Scotia." Like what? Like I don't see that guy for like months at a time, and then like just see him again randomly. Yeah, so that kind of fell through, and I don't know. Like I'm just a solo b-boy, really. I wouldn't say like I have a solid dance crew or anything like that. So
Solo.
yeah, man. If you want to make a name for yourself, make a name for yourself, not your crew. Do it for your city, though. Like whenever I go out of town, I always put Winnipeg on my back for sure. Like I let people know that I'm from Winnipeg. Very proud of this dance scene. Very proud of the city.
Did you grow up here like the whole time? Like were you born here and all that?
Yeah, born and raised.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah, Transcona.
Transcona. I didn't know where Transcona was for like the longest time.
Yeah,
Like,
like it's pretty tucked away.
I turned like 15 or 16 or something. And I'm like, oh, now I know where Transcona is.
Yeah.
That's why I found out about it.
When I first found out that Dono was from Transcona, I was so psyched about that. I was like, yo, like there's another b-boy from Transcona. I was like, yo, Sick.
I remember seeing him for the first time, and he had like dreads.
Dreadlocks, yeah.
Yeah, and they were long, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this guy's
Oh man,
pretty
like
interesting."
that kid just looks like the typical skater kid, eh? Just like him, like when I first saw him, that was at Triple Trouble, Ricky's first jam. I think that was 09, 08 or something like that. And I was just like, man, he is a skater kid. And I just had a hunch that he's from Transcona. I don't know. Just the way he dressed, it's just like I feel like you're from Transcona. And I remember one time I was taking the bus in Transcona and I saw him at a bus stop and I was just like, oh shit, he is from Transcona. My hunch was right. And now he's becoming a dad.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, Becca's pregnant.
Oh, damn.
She's like 7, 8 months pregnant or something like that.
Did not know that.
Yeah, congratulations to them.
Are you supposed to talk about that, or I guess it's?
Well, I don't think there's any hiding it. I mean, we're gonna have a human being real soon. So, who's this little person? Oh, I don't know. Like, just found them. I think they're gonna name their child's middle name after me. Actually, yeah. I'm just joking. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, man. So thanks for coming on the CypherTalk podcast. Definitely want to get you on again. I want to do like a huge cycle type thing of everybody who I think is pretty cool and needs to get their shine on.
Thanks for having me.
But yeah, obviously I asked you to be on because he's a super funny dude and you have like stuff to talk about too, man. And we don't really get a chance to like sit down and just talk about stuff. So
yeah.
So thanks. Good luck with what you're teaching in Dauphin or around that area. Shout out to Rising Star Academy of Arts. I'll give them another shout out. Music lessons, dance lessons, Broadway stuff. We got Patrick Hilario, yeah. Hilario, teaching breaking this upcoming season. So we start up again in the fall, September, I believe.
Yeah, I think it starts like the same time that school starts, September 7th.
Yeah. And I'm also teaching popping and locking, so the funk styles will be there too. It's like the only place where you could get all that stuff wrapped into one. So you guys should check it out. All right, CypherTalk podcast out. Peace. See you guys next time.
Peace.